Hello and good afternoon from Cozumel, Mexico. What you see behind me is a bank of 6 solar panel batteries. These need to charge up in order for my house to have power. There's the system up there. Now, if you hear a noise that sounds a little bit like an engine running, that's because there is an engine running. It's my generator. The generator was already purchased, came as part of the whole plan of building this house in order to provide power in emergency situations like hurricanes or multiple cloudy, rainy days where the batteries just don't get charged up. And that was supposed to just be a quick fix for those kinds of situations. But what I've run into is a little bit of a conundrum, and that's basically at least partially due to me being quite stubborn. I don't want any more trees cut down. I've been very, very insistent about that. But unfortunately, some of the trees that are still here are putting shade onto the panels on the roof. And then the way the panels work, or at least how it was explained to me, is that the panels, if one panel is partially shaded and it's only working at, say, 20% or 30% of what its capacity is, the entire system drops down to that same level. So all the panels run at that same level. There is another kind of system where each panel has its own inverter. It's a more expensive system, one, but also you do need to be connected to the grid, which I'm not. I'm completely off grid out here. So that system was not going to ever work for me. The hope was that, that the batteries would get charged up and it wouldn't be a problem. But because I'm living here now, the batteries have never been able to get much above 30% before I start using power and drop it back down. In fact, I've been without power at some point in the last week for at least 20 hours at a time, which is no bueno. So, because it is very rural out here, and without power, that means I have no internet, and cell phone coverage is spotty. So, it could be kind of dangerous if something bad were to happen. So Jose, when he was out last week helping me set things up, said, you should be able to use your generator to charge those batteries up. I spoke with my contractor, and he didn't seem to think that that was something that would work. But I asked him to follow up with the solar company, and they said, yeah, we probably can make it work. And so they've been out here all day today, and they've got my generator hooked up, and it's now running, and it's basically charging up these batteries in the hopes that once I get them past a certain level of being charged, then I don't use that much power. I've just got to get them over that hump, and get them up into the high 80-90% charged, and then I don't think I'll have a problem again, and I won't have to cut down any trees. But if this doesn't work, then ultimately I probably will have to do some selective pruning, but I'm not cutting down any more trees. I feel very strongly about this. I'm not going to show you the house because the house is still a mess, but you can at least see some of the trees. I love it here. I'm already so freaking happy. I can't even tell you how happy I am. So hopefully this problem is solved, and then we'll move on to the next problem, because there are additional problems. It's a new build. It is what it is. I totally get it.